Like it or not, Brisbane is changing. Some people are happy to see the transition, while others are mourning the loss of the place that Brisbane used to be. Over the last few years, the Brisbane Channel has been capturing slices of things that make Brisbane the place many of us know and love today. And we'll be here following as these 5 LGAs continue to evolve into the future. So let's take a look at how both Brisbane and the Channel have changed and some expectations in the coming years. Let's get to it. When I started making videos for the channel in 2019, Brisbane's public transport was among the most expensive in the world. A bus from where I now live into the city centre would have cost about $4 one way, but since the introduction of 50-cent fares in late 2024, it's now 1/8 that much. So that's something positive. We're still paying exorbitant prices to get to and from Brisbane Airport if we take the air train, however. And I've got to say I do miss the red City Hopper ferry, which was free to ride and had a top deck for great views. There's no longer any free river services in Brisbane, but at 50 cents a journey, is that really a big deal? Clearly the biggest change across all of Greater Brisbane would have to be the increased population, which has had impacts on our quality of life in many ways. I have another video coming out within the next week or so on quality of life in Brizzy and how positive locals feel about different aspects of life here, so I won't go into too much detail in this video. But Brisbane has seen rapid population growth, both through overseas and interstate migration, much more than through Brisbaneites making babies and not dying. The larger population has seen increased strain on our roads and congestion increasing, as has been confirmed by figures released by RACQ last year. Of course, it's also possible that the congestion has other contributing factors, such as increased use of private vehicles or changing reasons for being on the roads, but whatever the cause, it's certain that road congestion has increased and is unlikely to improve without some significant changes. On the Channel, we've seen some dramatic changes to the face of Brisbane, with major development projects including the Queen's Wharf District, the Neville Bonner, Breakfast Creek and Kangaroo Point bridges, along with other active transport infrastructure improvements. That's not to say that things are perfect, as active transport advocates still point to gaps and deficiencies in the overall network, and we have road infrastructure projects that have had significant timeline blowouts. Mogul Road, I'm looking at you. But the way we get around the city has definitely changed, with Victoria Bridge going from general traffic to public and active transport only. And of course, we've recently seen the launch of the Metro bus network's M2 line, strangely before the M1 line, which will start mid this year. And then there's the proliferation of hire e-scooter and e-bikes. The Brisbane Channel has been here all along the way, although not necessarily producing videos at a standard I can be proud of. But we'll get to that in a moment, because that's changing too. But perhaps one of the things that many long-term Brisbane residents are feeling is that the culture and overall vibe of the city has been changing for the worse. That's something that's harder to measure or analyse, but it's come up a lot in the comments section of many videos on this channel. There's no denying that Brisbane has its own unique charm that comes from it straddling the line between small city and big country town. And some people have expressed concern that Brisbane will lose the laid-back, less frantic way of life with both the increased population and the influx of new residents, each bringing their own cultures with them. Others celebrate the breath of fresh air they see the new arrivals as bringing, and are also excited to see Brisbane stepping up and becoming the city they always knew it could be. People definitely have very different views about this, so I'd love to know your thoughts. This video should have some pretty lively discussion in the comments section. But let's get to how the Brisbane Channel has changed along with everything around it. Looking at the very first videos on the channel, I can't help but cringe. Out of focus shots, horrific audio quality, and a general lack of direction or knowing what the channel wanted to be. But as I've figured things out over the years, I've also been focusing on stepping up the quality of what's on offer on the channel. Part of that has been by improving my skills in researching, video production, presenting, and editing, but part has also been by getting more of the right tools to do the job better. I've always been good at getting the most out of the least, But as I've been trying to step things up for the channel, I've recently discovered there's a point where the limitations of the gear you have will stop you from achieving your full potential. For example, as the Brisbane Channel has received more invitations to attend press conferences, I didn't have a way to record clear audio from the people speaking, and had to rely on either asking someone else for their audio or using the audio from the microphone on my camera rig, which was too far away from the speakers to pick up their voice without lots of background noise.
Surveyors want to know, after 1,200 days of chaos and crisis, that there's a group that will sort out the mess in 100 days.
So thanks to people who have supported the channel by becoming members or through Buy Me a Coffee, I've been able to invest in a good shotgun mic and recorder, which I used for the first time at last week's press conference announcing the launch of the accessible bridge climb on the Story Bridge.
This is truly remarkable. I'm very delighted to be here on behalf of the Chris Fully government. First things first, we were very pleased to spend $200,000 to actually relocate the Story Bridge climb to this side of the river.
Another investment that has paid off has been a cheap teleprompter, which helps save heaps of time when making these videos. But there's one thing that has really affected the professionalism of the videos when I'm talking to the camera. I've got a couple of very affordable Neewer LED panel lights that I use for indoors shots like this. But when I film a piece to camera outside, I've always struggled with the light changing with the sun going in and out of the clouds, which inevitably happens here. The LED panel lights aren't strong enough to have any impact, and you can see the effects of the changing light here. Not only does the brightness change when the sun goes behind a cloud, but the color temperature changes. So it's a lot of editing work to try and make the shots consistent, and I failed to maintain a professional level of image quality in most outdoor piece-to-camera shots. With some very important video interviews coming up for the planned videos on homelessness, suburban renewal, and youth crime, I needed lighting that would allow me to raise the standard of videos produced both now and as I follow Brisbane's continued change in the coming years. And I got it. You probably didn't notice, but in the update video from 2 weeks ago, I was using the light that I've now fallen in love with. If you didn't notice, it means I've been successful in making the scene not look as though it was lit, which is the goal of every good cinematographer. I didn't quite achieve that, as you can occasionally see the light reflected in my glasses. It's a Neewer CB300C LED video light with an 85cm parabolic softbox attached. It gives a beautiful natural light, and you can change the color in endless ways. Although it was overcast on the day, the clouds got darker and darker, but thanks to the Neewer light, although the background got darker, the exposure on my face remained more or less constant. I didn't think I'd use the extra color options, but if you look again at the most recent weekly update video, that blue light coming in the window is also from the CB300C. Which I had set up just outside. I think it brings a lot more interest to the shot when compared with just darkness outside, and I love the way it brings out the detail of the black shelves behind me. It's also pretty cool that I can control the light using an app in my phone. For full transparency, Neewer did send me the light and softbox for free in exchange for making this video, but I'm not obliged to be positive or cover certain points, so everything I say about the light is my honest opinion. And I honestly do love the light, and I'm excited about the ways it's going to help me raise the production quality of videos that I put out on this channel. If you're interested in this kind of product, I've got links in the video description. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. I'm excited to keep raising the bar when it comes to producing excellent content for the Brisbane Channel, and I'll see you in the next video.